What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, where for today's video, boy have I got news for you, because it has been a killer of a week, at least when it comes to reveals, and I do want to apologise for not covering yesterday's Transformers Thursday livestream, but seriously, I did just drop the review for the Roboson Megatron, and that thing was an absolute beast. So, to try and not overshadow that review, I'm going to compile one beast of a roundup for today, and seriously guys, I'm so glad that I've waited, because I am now back with a bang, and there is so much to discuss. So, first of all, let's jump into some brand new third-party news. DNA Design officially revealed images for their upcoming DK54 animated Optimus Prime upgrade kit, and it looks mental. So this is about to transform their Optimus Prime into a full-blown Power Master Prime, and damn did they cook. I think this has the potential to be one of the best DNA Design upgrades which they've ever released. When it comes to contents, this will include a jetpack, 2 over-the-shoulder cannons, 1 fire hose attachment, 2 gauntlets which are pack-in opening hands which I thought was sick, a hammer accessory, and then finally 2 brand new foot attachments. Now once you power Optimus Prime up with this upgrade kit, he looks seriously badass, and I have heard rumours that Hasbro themselves will also be releasing a Power Master animated Optimus Prime, and I'm really not sure if it will have the potential to destroy this, because it literally seems as if though DNA Design have gone all out. Optimus Prime looks seriously wicked, souped up to the max, and he's also now a giant in comparison to the likes of animated Bumblebee and BRAWL. I also really like the wingspan on the jetpack. It definitely does appear to be mighty, but that's not all, because all of the attachments which you can use for robot mode can also be transformed and used for vehicle mode. So you can turn Prime's truck mode into a full-blown fire truck, which was a look that we did see from the Transformers animated TV show, and even this is packing a punch when it comes to accuracy. Near enough spot on to what we did see from the show. So I seriously cannot wait for this. You know, as I mentioned, I think this now has the potential to easily be one of DNA Design's best work today. And to be honest, this reveal was definitely needed, because as of late, DNA Design have kind of had a few rocky releases. Some of their products I think are a little too overpriced, but this one right now is rumored to be retailing for roughly $45 to $50. And when you consider everything you get in this set, I think it is more than bang for your buck. So really cannot wait to check this out. I'm kind of hoping as a bonus accessory, they also shoot us over an alternate faceplate head sculpt, because I think that would truly be the icing on the cake and would simply turn this animated Optimus Prime into a perfect release. So roll on the release day of this kit. I really cannot wait to check this one out. Now, slightly changing gears to some official news, Sam Smith, who is the lead designer of all of the most recent Transformers movie masterpiece figures, dropped some brand new images of the upcoming MPM-15 BRAWL. Now, at the moment, this gives us our best look at this masterpiece, and it looks even better than some of the official images which were released last week. So, we have a few size comparison shots. Here is BRAWL stacked up against the Studio Series Voyager figure, and it looks to be packing when it comes to scale. The biggest takeaway that I got from some of these turnarounds is that BRAWL will also include an interchangeable battle-damaged arm. So during that amazing Mission City battle, Ratchet whacks out his buzzsaw and literally slices this guy's arm clean off. So that is such a fantastic touch. You know, in addition to the Fire Blast, which you can attach onto the chest unit, you can seriously recreate this guy's demise from the movie, which I thought was an awesome touch. You know, ever since MPM Blackout, Bone Crusher was awesome, and now BRAWL definitely seems to follow suit. So I'm hoping Sam Smith stays with the movie masterpiece lineup, because I would love to see him approach the likes of some Revenge of the Fallen characters. In particular would be a Sideswipe. You know, some of the Studio Series Sideswipe figures have been pretty impressive, but all of them have been at the slightly smaller end of the scale when it comes to deluxe class. So to see that design kind of bumped up to a movie masterpiece, I definitely think they could cook up something super special. And with the exception of a 2007 clunker Bumblebee and a Frenzy, we've now pretty much wrapped when it comes to the 2007 movie characters. So do you know what I say, guys? Roll out to Revenge of the Fallen. Now, a piece of news which just dropped before I was about to hit the record button on this video would be that Takara Tomy are going to be expanding their Missing Link subline, which I can't lie to you guys, I'm absolutely over the moon about. I thought both of their Missing Link Optimus Primes were an absolute blast. Easily one of the best Takara Tomy releases that we've had of all time. You know, the way they took the original G1 design and pretty much just added in that missing link, which was articulation, I thought was seriously impressive. So today we have 2 brand new leaked images. I do believe these are retailer images that Takara Tomy kind of send out to their partners in order to gauge interest. So they will be expanding the line into a Missing Link G1 Bumblebee, which to be fair is kind of the perfect continuation, because Bumblebee alongside Optimus Prime has to be one of the most popular G1 characters, and it looks pretty cool. I mean, much like Optimus Prime, staying very faithful to the original G1 Bumblebee toy, although just by judging from this image alone, already it seems to be way more articulated. I mean, I can spot an elbow bend, I can spot ankle pivot, so I will most definitely be picking this one up. But that wasn't the only character which we can expect, because they they are also going to be repainting Bumblebee and slightly retooling it, I believe, into a G1 missing link Cliffjumper. So there are 2 brand new releases coming out, and I really cannot wait to get my hands on these, because if they are half as good as Optimus Prime, they are going to be an absolute blast to mess around with. But now let's get stuck into the real meat and potatoes of this video. The reason why I'm sure you guys are tuning in, let's discuss the reveals which were dropped as part of Transformers Thursday yesterday. So first up, we have the Infernac Universe Nucleus. Now, I can't lie to you guys, I do have Nucleus and I will be having a review going up for him fairly shortly. But when it comes to a design, I actually really like it. You know, apparently the inspiration behind this character would be the substance of Nucleon, which is a material which Transformers can use in order to help aid them in battle, although if they use it for too long, it can begin to corrode their T-cog, preventing them from transforming. So I thought that was a pretty awesome backstory. The biggest thing which stands out to myself though would have to be that head sculpt. I think it looks awesome. And when it comes to accessories, he's going to include this massive kind of thruster club, which once you transform this bad boy into its vehicle mode, literally looks like something ripped straight out of a Mad Max movie. And I dig the designs for these. I think they're super unique, really interesting, and this is a subline which I hope to continue, because honestly, I'm still mourning the loss of the Legacy Evolution Junkions. I thought some of those designs were badass, but easily the best reveal out of the bunch for myself would have to be the Cybertron Universe Deluxe Class Hotshot, which apparently this was solely led by Takara Tomy, and the same can also be said for the Cybertron Universe Starscream. And if that is the case, then I seriously think Hasbro should give full creative control to Takara Tomy, because they are absolutely smashing it when it does come to some of these modernized updates. I mean, these Cybertron characters are exactly what I would have liked to have seen from Transformers Prime, an incredible faithful update, quite simply the original toy, just with now modern articulation and slightly better engineering. This guy looks badass, and you can imagine the amount of repaints that we're going to be seeing out of this mold. Seriously, I cannot wait to see this fully decked out in the red. This guy will also be packing the Cybertron Planet Key, which I thought was such an awesome touch. So definitely cannot wait to get around to checking this guy out. As I said, stay tuned to the channel, because his review should be up imminently, which, speaking of, they also officially showed off the Robots in Disguise Universe Sideburn, which I already reviewed a few weeks back. So if you guys want to see my in-depth thoughts, definitely be sure to check that out. And then the final reveal, at least when it came around to Legacy United, would be the Voyager class Cybertron Universe Vector Prime. Now this is a reveal that I've seen get so many collectors knickers in a twist, and to be honest, I'm not really quite sure why, because I think it's a pretty decent update. Now, in their defense, I can kind of see where they're coming from, because unlike Cybertron Starscream and Hotshot and even Override, this is the only most recent Cybertron update not to receive a complete brand new mold. Instead, Vector Prime will be an extensive retool of the G2 Universe G-Axis. But to be honest guys, I think that's a pretty banging Voyager. You know, it came packing with some of the best articulation that we've seen from a mainline Voyager release. So for the most part, all of that carries over here into Vector Prime, including the articulated hands, which up until this point has mainly been exclusive to leader class figures. So I think that's pretty sweet. Of course, the color scheme though does do a lot of the heavy lifting, at least when it comes to kind of the lower body. The thighs, the legs, the feet, I believe are a direct carryover from G-Axis. So unfortunately, they're not going to be spot on to how Vector Prime did appear in the Cybertron show. But when it comes to the whole upper body, I think it looks amazing. You know, the chest looks spot on, the shoulder pads too are wickedly detailed, and I'm also digging the head sculpt. He will also include some pretty cool accessories, those being the Cyber Planet Key, which you can attach into the center of the chest, as well as that pretty sick looking energized sword. So for the most part, without directly scrutinizing this against the actual CG design, I think again this looks to be a pretty solid update. And the second we flip that bad boy around into his vehicle mode, again with the exception of the circuitry, which is a carryover from G-Axis, I think the alt mode looks pretty bang on. I really like the wing pieces on the side. The detail just looks crazy, especially towards the front end of the spacecraft. You know, those golden mechanical cogs I think are looking wicked. So I definitely can't wait to get this guy in hand. To be honest with you, I actually think it's going to be a pretty awesome Voyager, and maybe our very first tease as to what we can expect going into next year, because I believe the next mainline after Legacy is going to be surrounding and centered around the 13 Prime. So to see the release of Vector Prime, I think is a fantastic tease, and for those who do plan to kind of complete the 13 Primes, then this is definitely one that you are going to want to add to your collection. But, surprisingly, Legacy United wasn't the only mainline they touched upon, because now we're going to get stuck into my bread and butter, Transformers Studio Series. So first of all, they did give us a very quick roundup when it came round to the Transformers 1 animated movie, Deluxe Class Optimus Prime, and considering that this is only a Deluxe Class, I think he looks banging. He appears to be packing some fantastic articulation, even butterfly joints, which I think is a first for this scale point. I'm also really digging the inclusion of the Matrix of Leadership, which this Optimus Prime will actually be able to hold, so that's really cool. And they did did make a specific note that most of these Transformers 1 animated movie characters are going to be scaled down so that they are slightly more affordable. Now, to be honest, when I began to see listings of a deluxe class Optimus Prime, I was a little bummed out because I was wondering how they were going to faithfully execute that design as a deluxe class, but to see this Optimus Prime, I now have no worries at all. This figure looks fantastic, and despite us at the time of this recording not having a great glimpse of Optimus Prime, judging by the CG render which is slapped on the front of the box, this figure for the most part looks really accurate. So roll on to some of the rest of the Transformers 1 characters. I'm definitely super pumped, although by far one of the biggest takeaways from this reveal is that this Optimus Prime is going to be a part of a brand new wave lineup, that being titled the Level A assortment. So this will be the very first entry. It's pretty much where the characters will be in circulation all year round, so don't worry about getting your hands on this guy because he is going to be mass produced like a mother. Considering that this is Optimus Prime based on a brand new animated movie, you can bet that this thing is going to be shelf warming hard, so I really wouldn't worry if at the moment pre-orders are sold out, because I do reckon he's going to be very easy to get a hold of, and we are definitely going to be touching base again with this Level A assortment later on in the video, so be sure to stay tuned for that. But now we're going to get stuck into some of the Through the Space Bridge reveals. So the next core figure we can expect will be an 86 movie Steeljaw. So this is fantastic, finally more cassette minions to pair alongside the 86 movie Blaster. Up until this point we've really only seen Eject and then a repaint of that into Rewind, so this is going to be wicked. You'll finally be able to add more characters to that amazing No Way 2 Can Play scene, so I'm definitely excited for this guy. You know, some of the cassette minions which we've seen for Soundwave I think have mostly been bangers, so definitely am excited to see how this figure turns out. Now as we bump it up to Deluxe Class, there will be a War for Cybertron Gamer Edition Deluxe Class Decepticon Infantry, so finally brand new troop builders to add to the lineup. I'm definitely excited to see as to how he's going to look, although the design team did make note that the image which we have here is a great indication of what we can expect from the actual figure's design. Now this looks really cool. For the most part it's incredibly kibble-less, although there are some parts about the design, especially when it comes to the chest and the placement of the wheels, which leads me to believe that maybe this will be a retool of the Gamer Edition Barricade, and I'm hoping more than anything that it's not, because that has to be by far one of the weakest deluxe class figures Hasbro have ever released in a long time. So I'm really hoping that this will be a brand new mold, but considering that for the most part this is only a background character, I'm really not holding out hope for this guy, and let's all face it, the Gamer Edition as a whole has been mid at best, so I really wouldn't be holding out any hope for this guy. Now we're going to bump it up to Voyager class, and the next figure in this wave is a Bumblebee movie Skywarp, which let's all face it, we all knew was coming, especially with the release of Thundercracker, so it's going to be really cool to kind of recreate the original trio based on the Bumblebee movie, and I do believe that Skywarp is the only on-screen character left to go, so after they cover this guy I would expect so many concept art figures, because I think it has to be said, the Studio Series figures based on this Bumblebee movie have to be by far some of the most popular we've ever seen from this line, and Hasbro are not going to be missing out on any money, so I would expect way more figures from that Bumblebee movie. And then the final figure they teased, at least when it comes around to Studio Series, will be an 86 movie Leader Class Springer. Now the design team themselves did very briefly mention that this will be a heavy retool of the Voyager Class Siege Springer, a figure which to be honest I think is an absolute banger. Now here is where I can give you guys a little bit of a scoop, because I have seen the 86 movie Springer, so pretty much it will be a heavy reuse of that mold. It's going to come packing with a brand new head sculpt, a new chest piece, opening hands much like Earthrise Optimus Prime. There will be some extensive retooling going on when it comes to the biceps and the shoulders, even the thighs, but one part which is heavily reused will be pretty much from the shin downwards, so you can expect that entire area to be a direct carryover, which I know for some collectors will definitely put them off. And I know you guys may be wondering how exactly are they then going to justify the Leader Class price point for a figure which was originally released as a Voyager Class. Well, as we've seen previously, they are going to be packing in a shed ton of accessories, so let's run through a few of them. He will include 2 blasters, which we did see with the original Springer. He's also going to come packing with his original G1 blaster, which to be fair looks sick. He's also going to include a hammer, a sword, which we do see him use to fend off against the Junkions with in the movie, a big massive bomb, as well as a propeller blade, which can also transform into a pretty cool green-like sword. So he will definitely be packing in the accessory department, but the original figure was just so damn good that with the exception of kind of fine-tuning that mold, there really wasn't anything more they could do. But I won't lie to you guys, they have fine-tuned it to the max. You know, some of the details, especially when it comes to the whole upper torso, are almost spot on to the actual animation model. Now let's jump through that space bridge to discuss the second entry in the Level A assortment, and it will be a Studio Series 86 Bumblebee. Now the design team in particular appear to be super hyped about this, so seriously I'm expecting some pretty big things, because this is a Studio Series figure. I imagine it will be almost spot on. I am expecting it to transform into a beetle, which is very similar in design to that of the actual Masterpiece, and because it has been very cleverly packaged in as part of the Level A assortment, again much like that TF1 Optimus Prime, you can expect this to be on shelves for around 12 months, so hopefully this shouldn't be nowhere near as elusive as that Netflix Bumblebee. So roll on the reveal for this guy. I cannot wait to check him out, and hopefully he's going to be the perfect companion piece to stack up against the upcoming 86 movie Commander Class Optimus Prime. And then the final Through the Space Bridge reveal they gave us was not Studio Series at all, but instead it was based on their comic book subline. This will be a Leader Class Straxus. Now, I can only speak for myself, but this reveal absolutely threw me off. I had no idea they were going to be approaching a Straxus, let alone in this subline, because let's all face it, both Grimlock and Shockwave have pretty much just been repaint. So I am wondering exactly what they're going to do when it comes to this character. At the moment, the rumor is that he's going to be a repaint and slight retool of the Kingdom Leader Galvatron, and I can totally believe that because Straxus at one point did have a design which was very similar to Galvatron, and with the exception of a few new accessories with Grimlock and Shockwave, there really hasn't been all that much new tooling when it comes to these figures. So I would expect at best maybe a brand new head sculpt and perhaps a new accessory, and then a complete redeco of that Galvatron. And finally, we have two very cool listings which again come to us via JT Prime 17. The first one is of a Transformers Decepticon Commander 3-pack, which is rumoured to be comprised of a Voyager Starscream, a Shockwave, and a Soundwave. Now, this is a Hasbro item, it's not a Takara Tomy item, so this will be completely different in comparison to that Nemesis Bridge 3-pack, which I recently checked out. If I had to kind of guess as to what this will be, because right now the hype appears to be Hasbro kind of reissuing older G1 figures, this time with a slightly more toon-accurate deco, that's what I'm expecting from these three. I would imagine that none of them will come with transparent components. They're all going to be solid plastic pieces kind of painted over, so I guess only time will tell. It would be pretty cool if some of these were brand new molds, although I really wouldn't hold your breath. And then the final out of the two listings will be a Studio Series multi-pack, this time inspired by Revenge of the Fallen. So much like we saw from the 2007 movie, Hasbro will be kind of giving us 15th anniversary sets. So this one right now is rumoured to include Leader Class Jetfire, Voyager Class Optimus Prime, and right now two unknown Deluxe Class figures, which if I had to guess would maybe be Ratchet and Jolt, or maybe Jolt and Bumblebee, because during that final battle in Revenge of the Fallen, Jolt does electrify both Jetfire and Prime together, so at least to myself that would make perfect sense. It's wicked that we're going to be seeing a Leader Class Jetfire reissue. He has to be by far one of the most elusive Michael Bay Studio Series figures, so that's definitely going to be pretty sick, although I can't help but do some wishful thinking in hoping that those two unknown Deluxe Class figures maybe Skids and Mudflap. You know, could this potentially be the only way that we're going to get those characters into our collection? Probably not. You know, I don't think Hasbro ever will approach those characters, but there is no denying that for the 15th anniversary, it would be pretty damn awesome if they did finally release those two, as I believe they are the only Autobots which are missing from the Revenge of the Fallen lineup. Those are all of the reveals that I wanted to discuss in today's video. Out of everything mentioned here, what are you guys most excited for? I want to thank you all so much for watching, and until my next video, transform and roll out!